All right, I'm now joined by another wrestler here. We are talking with Vance Nevada. How are you doing today, sir?
Fantastic.
How are you enjoying Comic-Con in Calgary?
You know, this is the first type of event like this that I've been to, and it's, certainly being in a wrestling environment, you're used to a lot of colorful characters, but there's been a few here that have had me scratching my head, I think.
Really? Yeah, I mean, as you can tell, there's a variety of people walking around, so I can kind of see how you feel that way. Why don't you talk a bit about yourself? You're known for being in the indies in Canada. What's the scene like in Canada as far as indie wrestling goes?
You know, it's kind of a feast or famine business. You know, you're either in my busiest year, I did 141 dates.
Wow.
And then on the slow year, you're maybe only doing maybe 8 to 10. Right now, wrestling is on the upswing, so it's,
that's right.
This week I'm in Calgary, next week is Edmonton. I've got a few dates in Saskatchewan coming up soon, and then I'm off to the East Coast to Newfoundland for a little while.
Wow, so you're originally from Brandon, Manitoba, is that correct?
That's true.
So do you tour like North America? Do you tour the world? Like where exactly do you go to wrestle?
Primarily it's been coast to coast in Canada.
Yeah, Canada?
And I just last month passed the 1,300 match mark in my career.
Wow.
So now I'm starting to look at maybe some dates in the U.S. coming up very soon.
Yeah. All right, so you've written this book here. It's called Wrestling in the Canadian West. Why don't you talk a bit about that?
Well, you know what? When I started wrestling, I'd be in the locker room with different, older wrestlers, and they'd be telling stories, and you think, you know what? There's some really fascinating stories.
Right.
Of course, all the best stories you can never commit to print because no one will admit to them later. But
yeah.
A lot of great stories, that are unique to Canadian wrestling. Particularly, the Tony Condello tour in northern Manitoba, where they drive across the frozen lakes into the First Nations communities.
Wow.
That's a one-of-a-kind tour. And in Texas or wherever, they're not going to understand, driving right across the lake.
Yeah.
And sacrifices that wrestlers have made in Canada, or even the awareness of how many guys that are top stars or WWE Hall of Famers actually got their start in Canada.
That's right.
With Stampede Wrestling and whatnot. So this is sort of a way to pay tribute to the guys that, helped me when I began, the guys that paved the road so guys like me can wrestle now. And, also let people know the full scope of Canadian wrestling.
Because Canadian wrestling is actually, it's pretty huge, isn't it?
It's very big. In the research that I've done, I've been able to track down probably more than 18,000 live events, and I'm still digging.
Yeah, right on. I was actually reading a bit of your bio, and it said your toughest opponent was Matt Bourne, who was also known as Doink the Clown in WWF back in the day. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Matt Bourne was a guy that, every now and then you hear about an opponent being unorthodox, and Matt Bourne is one of those guys. He's very difficult to prepare for a match with Matt Bourne, because you just don't know where he's coming from, and to a degree, I mean, whether he was Maniac Matt Bourne or Doink the Clown, just a very off-the-wall personality altogether, and he hits very hard.
Okay. Right on. So what's next for Vance Nevada? Where can we see you in the next near future?
Well, next weekend I'm in Edmonton, and then I've got, as I said, a few dates. I'm in Moose Jaw and Kindersley coming up.
Okay.
But this week I just came back from Las Vegas. There was a Cauliflower Alley convention there, where I received an award. Actually, I think probably as a result of the book. So I've been talking to a few people about a few different projects, and there may be some new book projects in the works with, working together with some of the bigger names in the wrestling business. But once things get more concrete, I'd be glad to give you an update on that.
That's great. Well, great talking to you today, and good luck in the future.
Fantastic. Hope you have a great time at the Expo.
Thank you. And you as well.